Hudson County View live on Uncut, and I'm your host, the guy with the largest arms, the greatest charms, the words that do the most harm, John Arhitis, and of course the latest and greatest at Hudson County News. So we had a really long Jersey City Council meeting last week, so we have quite a few things to talk about there. Probably number one on most readers' and viewers' minds is the right to counsel ordinance. The first reading of that passed unanimously. That was 8-0. And fortunately today, I'm joined with two of the sponsors, and that's Ward E Councilman James Solomon and Ward F Councilman Frank Educational Gilmore. So certainly that's going to be a good discussion. And like I said, very long meeting. There was a moratorium, a 6-month moratorium on cannabis applications. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the one-way on St. Paul's. And beyond Jersey City, we're also going to talk about how a Hudson County Superior Court judge remanded the Western Edge project in Hoboken back to the planning board. That's actually a fairly significant decision. We're also going to talk about legislation out in D.C., talking about firefighter benefits, and they actually did that press conference in West New York, and that was Bob Menendez, Rob Menendez, and Bill Pascrell. So all that and a little bit more right after this word from our sponsors.
Jersey City Ford Certified Parts and Service, located at Route 440 and Communipaw Ave, is your #1 source for Ford and Lincoln automotive needs. We use certified Ford Motorcraft products to keep your Ford running in top shape. Motorcraft parts are backed with the Ford warranty, which includes a 2-year unlimited mileage guarantee. Our team will have the right Motorcraft part to ensure the best performance from your Ford or Lincoln. You can order in person at the parts counter or online. Let us help keep your Ford or Lincoln in the best shape at Stevens Jersey City Ford.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and launch inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Hudson County View live on Uncut, John Arhitis, and as I mentioned a few moments ago, I'm joined with two Jersey City Councilmen. One is from Ward E, that's James Solomon, and we also have Frank Educational Gilmore. Guys, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me, John.
Thanks for having us, John.
No problem. So the reason that we wanted to have you both drop in today was the right to counsel. So obviously, like, this is something we've been talking about probably for months, but it's really finally, hit the council, obviously, last week, passed unanimously. So first of all, just tell us how we got to this point, like how many stakeholders were involved, and what your guys' role was getting this to the table and getting through the first hurdle.
Okay. James, you start, and
sure.
I'll chime in.
Yeah, so we'll start with, there was a community-based group, the Jersey City Right to Counsel Coalition, that really kind of brought this to our attention. And I think, Frank and I, I'm sure, the main, the #1 constituent issue we get is rent going up and people being pushed out of the city. And so we've done our research, and Right to Counsel is a program that works. It levels the playing field between tenants and landlords. On average, 80% of landlords have an attorney in eviction court, but less than 5% of tenants do. And in other cities, it's dropped evictions by 30, 40, 50%. So we think that it's a great program to be able to keep thousands of Jersey City residents in our homes. So Right to Counsel Coalition approaches us. Frank and I have worked on the legislation for a couple months. We then brought in a bigger group with the council, Councilman Saleh, the mayor, and then we're able to introduce it before the council. And we know that we still have further refinements to make, but I think the council has all said they support the concept of right to counsel, and now it's about ironing out those details to move it forward.
Yes, so like Councilman said, the Right to Counsel Coalition approached us, and just off the bat, as soon as we began into negotiation and conversation, I thought it made sense, seeing that one, We're like a economical engine right now in Jersey City with regards to development. There's development going up everywhere, and everyone's talking about affordability. And because of the pandemic, you're going to see a height in eviction. And this is just a measure we want to introduce to try to just level the playing field. This is not something that, you know, we're anti-development or anti-landlord. I'm a landlord myself. All we're saying is that we want to afford people the opportunity to have proper representation. So for me, it was a no-brainer. It's something that makes sense, and it's something that's definitely needed. When you talk about individuals going to court without the proper legal representation, right? It's a scary thing to be involved in the process at all.
Sure.
And then not to have someone consult you with a set of expertise that deals with that, it's even more scarier. Right, so we want to make sure that we're looking out for everybody, and this is legislation that we believe is going to level the playing field. And again, it's something that we're constantly working on. We're ironing out the kinks just to make sure we get it right, and we'll continue to do that.
Okay. Now, on that point about you know, the tenants typically not having representation, you know, something that we've heard from the development community is that they're saying an overwhelming majority, I don't want to put a specific number on it, of people that are going to court are getting evicted because they didn't pay rent. So if that's the scenario, how would this be helpful here?
Yeah, so the what's beautiful about this with the way the fees come in, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund fees, is actually only 20% of the money goes to the Right to Counsel program, and an additional 80% goes to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And a huge portion of that money could be put into emergency rental assistance. That the city has a year after passing these ordinances to determine its spending plan. But we think emergency rent, I think emergency rental is a great program, right? It helps landlords and it helps tenants keep them in their homes. But let's also be clear, a lot of tenants are getting evicted. If you're in a rent-controlled building, because the landlord thinks I can push you out,
and get more.
I can do repairs, and I can get more. And I'm not pushing you out for legal reasons, I'm pushing you out for illegal reasons. I'm not repairing the heat in winter. I'm not fixing the stove in the middle of the year. We get those cases all the time. So I think for the folks who just fell on hard times and can't pay rent, we have a program that helps landlords and tenants. But we also need to help the tenants that landlords are trying to push out for the wrong reasons.
And also, just to that point, the Right to Counsel is not essentially here to help people who don't pay their rent, right? They can go to the consultation and they can very well be told that, listen, you're wrong, you haven't paid your rent, there's programs to help you, but ultimately you're responsible for paying. So it's not a mechanism to incentivize people to not pay their rent, right? We're just essentially saying is, hey, you have representation, right? So why can't the tenant have representation?
That's right.
And again, it's ultimately is going to turn out, I mean, it's going to get to a point where right is right and wrong is wrong, right? So, I mean, that's what it is. I think that's, I don't know, I think it's very disingenuous to just insinuate that the Right to Counsel is just going to be protecting people who don't adhere to their rent obligations.
I hear you, but you know, that's out there, so just wanted to make sure we could tackle that head on. So now, when we're talking about this, you guys both mentioned there's going to be amendments. What do you think are some things you're going to work on before we get the second reading?
Well, I think we need to clarify exactly how we can do things like emergency rental assistance, make that clear to the council. I think we're going to sort of look at, you know, the mix between in-house and out-of-house, right, attorneys for the city or partner organizations, and clarify that language. Those are a couple of the things I think we'll look at.
Okay.
And also, I think some other things we can look at too is just the typical dwellings, at what point the threshold is going to kick in at. So we're eyeing all that out. It's a working ordinance, and we'll continue to engage the rest of our colleagues and anyone else for that matter, because ultimately we want to create something that's fair to everyone.
Got it. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Guys, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back after this break from our sponsors.
Panepinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panepintodevelopment.com. Panepinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one path stop away, or a quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Not everyone celebrates the birth of a baby. You have options. Don't panic. New Jersey has safe havens for unwanted infants. Leave the baby with staff at any hospital, ER, police or fire station, or rescue squad. Call the number on your screen for safe haven locations or go to www.njsafehaven.org. No shame, no blame, no names. Safe Haven.
Hudson County View, live on Uncut. John Arhitis, and I'm still joined with Jersey City Councilman James Solomon and Frank Educational Gilmore. So, guys, another thing that I wanted to touch on is that, you know, the Hudson County Democratic Socialists of America, we've heard some of them say that they want universal coverage. Obviously, that's not what we have here. We have, I believe, the income threshold of $65,000 a year per household. So just tell us how you ended up on that number and what the negotiations were like on that end.
Yeah, I'll take that. I would like the program to be universal as well, and to be clear, it's written so that it can be universal in the future if we find additional funding for the program. But what happened was the core funding is this development fee ordinance, and that is connected to statewide fair housing legislation. And the Fair Share Housing Organization, the sort of state's leading experts in this law and affordable housing on the state, basically came to us and said, legally, we don't believe you can use these funds for people above the income threshold. And it's $64K for a family of 1, but it's over $90K for a family of 4. So it's still, you know, folks that are definitely middle working class, and would love to find additional funding to bump that cap higher. So that's something we'll work towards in the future, but the main funding mechanism has the funds tied. So it wasn't a discretionary choice. We didn't sit there and say this should be the number. We were advised by, you know, the best attorneys in the state that we have to put this number on given the source of funds.
Got it.
Yeah, that's basically what it was in a nutshell right there.
Yeah. Got it. Now, the developer fee ordinance, guys, as you know, it has to go to the planning board first. So could you just walk us through that process quickly?
I can just has to go to the planning board. So yeah, planning board will hear it on Tuesday, and then once the planning board hears it, they'll propose changes and comes back to us.
And then we'll go from there.
All right, that's today or next Tuesday?
Next Tuesday.
Okay.
Next Tuesday.
Next
25th.
Tuesday. Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And now on the topic of right to counsel, is there anything else either of you wanted to add?
No, I just would like to just reiterate that, you know, this is something that we're trying to do to protect everyday residents in Jersey City. This is not something that's going to be implemented that encourage people to not pay their rentals. This is something that we believe is going to level the playing field. And I think what get overlooked in all this is that people can essentially be eligible for right to counsel, and that right to counsel can tell them you are wrong. So I think that's a point that we're missing, right? If they're wrong, if they didn't pay rent for whatever reason it is, and they're obligated to pay the rent because that landlord has to pay mortgages, they have bills, and we understand all that. Ultimately, that attorney would advise them. Right? There's going to be instances where the attorney advised the tenant that you have no merit here. You're wrong.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, and another thing I'll add is right to counsel makes fiscal sense too. In the other cities that it's been done in, for a dollar you spend on it, it can save the city between $4 and $12, because when folks don't become homeless, you don't have to spend money on homelessness, on healthcare, on shelter, on all public benefits. So right to counsel makes fiscal sense as well as, I think, moral sense.
Got it. All right. So look, as you guys well know, it was a quite long meeting, as I mentioned at the top of the program. So I also want to talk about this 911 private study. Obviously, it's no secret 911 dispatch has had some problems in the recent years, and they still need to be worked on. The contract ended up getting approved on the third try since November. So I'm just curious why you guys voted the way you did on that one and how you think this is going to go.
Well, for me, I voted no because I just don't believe in handing over public entities to private enterprises. And for me, I feel like it's a clear conflict of interest. I can't ask you to assess something and you provide that same service, right? Because it'd be one thing if you said, hey, listen, this company is going to assess and then we'll open a bid out to everyone else, right? The process is fair, it's equal, and it's equitable. For me, I found it very problematic that this company was the only person that was able to do this analysis. We've done previous analysis with this company as well, and nothing really have come from it. So for me, I voted no. And another thing I would say before I pass it off to Councilman Solomon is that I'm a firm believer that when things are not working, you change leadership. Let's take sports for a reason. A team don't do good, odds are the coach get fired. If they really do bad, the GM get fired.
Yes.
Right? So for me, if there's a disconnect, right, then accountability needs to be had at every level. So if something that's not working, you remove people. You don't throw the whole organization or institution or department away. So that's my take.
All right, point taken. James?
I'm trying to figure out who Joe Judge is in that analogy there. But, we have to make changes. I'm open to any option, but I wanted a neutrals party to do the study. But it's moving forward, so we're going to review the study and see what it says. But to me, we got to get the call center to the point where if you call, your call is answered. That's the bottom line for all of us, because that's a basic public service that the citizens deserve.
Yes.
And hot take, so hurry up offense, if you will. Just real quick, the 6-month cannabis moratorium starting on May 15th. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it's something that's good just so we can really digest this going. This cannabis legislation is moving, and we just want to make sure we do it right before we open up the floodgates again. And for me, we just want to make sure that, minorities, individuals from Jersey City have the opportunity to participate in this market. So that's what the moratorium is for. I understand that, there's a lot of finances tied to it or whatever, but we have to look out for the city. So that's why I voted yes.
Yeah, my hope is it's not a 6-month pause. We have another month to get applications in the process through the council, and then my hope is the pause is much shorter. But we do have some things to clarify: 600-foot rule, prioritizing minority and women-owned businesses with really local roots. So hopefully we can clarify the ordinance, clean that up, and then move it back forward sooner rather than later.
Frank, James, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining
Thank you, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
It is so quick. There's a lot of...
We've been running the damn thing for decades. We don't have one.
This thing rips! Oh, it is so quick. There's a lot of punch packed into this Bronco Sport. It's got a ton of horsepower. I love it. All right. Now we're getting hairy. Now we're getting the fun stuff. Yeah. I like how we can get over or around almost anything.
Yeah, I dig your ride. I super dig it. It's gonna be a good day.
Growing up can be tough on kids. So much is going on in the world that can cause depression or anxiety. Unusual behavior for more than 6 months could mean they need help. Don't wait. For real-time mental health support and counseling, call New Jersey's Children's System of Care. CSOC offers free mental health supports, substance use treatment, and services for intellectual or developmental disabilities for all kids up to age 21. Call now, 1-877-652-7624.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff and people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union,
I make this look good, don't I?
who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood to build things made of wood with. And friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
Bring 150 around front, please.
We designed the F-150 to be tough. And we delivered on towing and payload like you'd expect. We also made it smart, starting with an available hybrid powertrain. This engine also allows you to use your truck as a high wattage generator. It's the kind of capability that a truck owner's really never had before.
Live on Uncut, John R. Hyde.
The Ford Maverick is a smaller truck.
It's Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop has made it official that he's running for governor in 2025. And, you know, not a surprise to anyone that's a follower and observer of New Jersey politics, but now it's officially in black and white, and we're off to the races. So we saw an email blast from the mayor yesterday where he explained why he decided to get out too early. And this is an excerpt of what he said. I'm fully aware that critics will say it's too early, or it's too this, or it's too that. So I figured I'd answer that question directly with an explanation. And he actually gave 3 reasons. So in short, he said, first, if the foundation for my candidacy is a platform to meaningfully improve New Jersey, then it must also be a platform that is based on honesty with you as a voter. That means not being cagey or disingenuous on whether I'm running or not. If I know in my heart I'm running for the right reasons, then it serves us both best to be clear and direct when I'm certain. And he said also, starting early is essential to getting a grassroots campaign going, similar to what he did when he ran against then Mayor Jeremiah Healy in 2013. Of course, Fulop was the wardy councilman at that time. You know, and he announced about a year and a half early at that point. So he likes to get out early in these campaigns. I mean, obviously something that he's done routinely at this point. And he also said that if they're going to talk about long-form policies and ideas for the state, it's best to do this in a thorough and expansive form rather than just kind of piecemealing it together and talking about platitudes. So that was kind of an interesting read. And he also said at the end of the email that, keep in mind, I have no fallback plan here. He's already said I'm not running for a 4th term as mayor. You know, there's no plan B where there's some kind of, you know, county or local seat he's going to jump into, or even, you know, maybe a legislative seat, nothing like that. He said this is all or nothing. So, you know, we're going to go for it, and we're going to give it all we got. Of course, I'm paraphrasing. And, you know, for the moment, he's the only declared candidate in the race, as we talked about a bit last week. And a lot of that conversation was with County Commissioner Bill O'Day. But regardless, the only other thing that I'd like to add here is Fulop actually filed his D1 form with the New Jersey Election Law Enforcement Commission. And on that form, when you file for any office, you have to list your treasurer. And he actually listed Barbara Stamato, and she's, of course, the chair of the Jersey City Democratic Organization. And she's running with the support of the Hudson County Democrats as a candidate for state assembly in the 31st Legislative District. So she's the treasurer for the Fulop for Governor campaign. So all eyes now are on U.S. Reps Josh Gottheimer and Mikey Sherrill to see if they decide to jump in, though it's unlikely we're going to hear much, if anything, from them on the gubernatorial race until after the 2024 elections, the presidential elections for Congress and Senate. So with that, let's move on over to up north. Let's talk a little West New York, but we're actually going to talk on a D.C. level because at last week we saw a press conference, U.S. Senator Bob Menendez, his son, U.S. Rep. Rob Menendez, and U.S. Rep. Bill Pascrell, and they were at North Hudson Regional Fire and Rescue Headquarters in West New York. That's over on Port Imperial Boulevard. They're talking about an expanded firefighter benefits bill. Now, for those of you that may have missed it, it's called the Honoring Our Fallen Heroes Act, and this would provide federal benefits for occupational cancer under the Public Safety Officers Benefits Program to firefighters, first responders, and their families. And interestingly, on March 6, President Joe Biden endorsed the legislation and called on Congress to get the bill to his desk. Now, you know, there's a lot here, but in short, the PSOB program provides a one-time federal death and disability benefit payment of $422,035 to first responders who are permanently disabled in the line of duty, and a monthly education assistance of $1,401 for their children or spouse. Now, while medical conditions like heart attack, strokes, and COVID-19 are pursued to be line of duty deaths for the purposes of PSOB, occupational cancer is not. So, in short, every day thousands of firefighters suit up and put their lives on the line to keep our community safe. The physical and mental stress of the profession are tangible, declared U.S. Rep. Bill Pascrell. Yet some of the facts of life do not come to light until years later. So this is a bill that obviously first responders are excited about. Obviously the president has come out in support of it already. And this looks like something that should be a home run for Congress, you would think. We heard from Rob Menendez, and he also said, "This is why I am proud to co-sponsor the Honoring Our Fallen Heroes Act, which would finally provide federal death and disability benefits to men and women who are stricken by cancer as a result of line-of-duty exposures." I want to thank Congressman Pascrell for his leadership on this issue, and I look forward to working with him to pass this important legislation. And he also said this act closes a significant loophole in the benefits awarded to our firefighters. Now, while we're talking about North Hudson Regional and we're talking about all these fires, it was actually a really crazy week last week. Obviously, it was unseasonably warm, and it was also pretty hot and dry. Quite a few days. So we saw at least 6 major fires. The last one was on Saturday in Bayonne, and it was a 5-alarm that had 22 people displaced. Fortunately, no serious injuries. 1 firefighter and 1 resident were transported to a local hospital, thankfully just treated and released. But on top of that, on Tuesday, 1 week ago, there was that 7-alarm brush fire in Jersey City near Liberty State Park. And then there were 5- and 6-alarm fires, respectively, in Weehawken and Union City. That was late Tuesday night. And then another 4-alarm blaze broke out in Union City early Friday morning. And then there was a 3-alarm fire in the Jersey City Heights Friday afternoon. We do know that in the case of the Union City and Weehawken fires, that 5- and 6-alarm, we know the Hudson County Prosecutor's Office arson investigation unit is looking into the case. And, hopefully this is a trend that slows down in the coming days. But when we hear more, we're going to let you know. With that, we're going to take one more break. We'll be right back.
Stevens Jersey City Ford Certified Parts and Service, located at Route 440 and Communipaw Ave, is your #1 source for Ford and Lincoln automotive needs. We use certified Ford Motorcraft products to keep your Ford running in top shape. Motorcraft parts are backed with the Ford warranty, which includes a 2-year unlimited mileage guarantee. Our team will have the right Motorcraft part to ensure the best performance from your Ford or Lincoln. You can order in person at the parts counter or online. Let us help keep your Ford or Lincoln in the best shape at Stevens Jersey City Ford.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Good Friend Self-Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer a Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Panapinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panapintodevelopment.com. Panapinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, Chad Arhitis. So actually one item that I wanted to mention that we did get a chance to talk to Councilmen Solomon and Gilmore was this resolution, actually sorry, it was an ordinance that would have made a portion of St. Paul's Avenue between Tunnelly and Liberty Avenues a one-way street, and it actually got voted down by an overwhelming tally. So you might recall that last month it passed on first reading, which is what makes this even more notable, and it was a pretty comfortable vote, 6-1-1. And at that time, you had Councilman at Large Daniel Rivera voting no, and Ward C Councilman Richard Paggiato abstaining. And at that meeting, Ward E Councilman James Solomon was absent. Now, before we really got into it, there was a ton of public comment. I mean, almost 2 hours, maybe even a little more. We heard from Paggiato, and he said, "The Office of Infrastructure has done a great job. I do appreciate their work. The community and the council members have been working together on this issue. Everyone is in agreement that safety is important for the residents, but this is not a vote against safety. We'll install the following traffic safety measures: speed humps, curb extensions, sharrows, chicanes, and pedestrian islands. Most residents on the city survey are private surveys, so they do not want a one-way, including the one-block one-way." And he also noted that this area is not part of the city's high injury study, and he urged the council to vote it down. We actually heard from a former Ward C councilman, that's Arnold Bettinger, and he's also served as a Democratic committee man, and he agreed with Paggiato's assessment. He said, "I humbly ask you to vote no in changing the traffic pattern of St. Paul's Avenue and rerouting this traffic onto Van Winkle, which would cause a hardship for those residents, along with increasing traffic onto John F. Kennedy Boulevard, has causing congestion on Newark Avenue." So on that point, important to note, the prior ordinance before the council was related that asked them to consider installing a southbound left turn on Tunnelly Avenue at Van Winkle Ave, and that was voted down 0-7-1. We saw Ward E Councilman James Solomon abstain. He said he wanted to talk about the heart of the issue on this ordinance that we were just mentioning with St. Paul's. And we heard from a number of people, quite a few from the Brunswick Towers Condo Association, that said, this was not going to be good for first responders to get on the road, and it was just going to basically make a traffic nightmare. Long story short, we did hear from some people that were in favor. We heard from a couple people like Isla Sherman, the president of Bike JC, that said that it's unsafe as is and all vulnerable road users are at risk. Nonetheless, that ended up getting voted down 0-7-1, and Gilmore abstained on that one, and as I mentioned earlier, Rivera absent. So finally, on Hoboken note, before we call it a day here, Hudson County Superior Court Judge Joseph Tarullo, back on April 4th, remanded the Western Edge project back to the Hoboken Planning Board, and that's two different points, and that's assuring approval for Block 112 and enforcing strict parameters for the hearing of Block 106. So a big win for the developers. That's Pegasus Partners. And I talked to one of them, and that's Mark Villamere. He said Pegasus is gratified that Judge Tarullo recognized the Hoboken Planning Board's decision to reject the Western Edge site plan applications for what they were: politically motivated acts that were arbitrary, capricious, and unreasonable. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it a week. We'll see you next time.